These bluegrass licks might get you canceled. Okay, we're gonna play all these licks out of the key of C, out of a C shape. With each lick, there's a different idea that I wanna tell you about. I think that all of these licks are pretty unique. These aren't your stock Tony Rice phrases, although there's nothing wrong with that. If you just want the licks, stick around for the next 30 seconds, a playthrough. If you want a deeper explanation of the what and the why, stick around, and I'll break each one down. 1, 2, 3. So lick number 1, this one's pretty straightforward in the harmonic complexity. We're just taking a major pentatonic, C major pentatonic. The shape right here looks like this, root, and we're doing a pattern. And then we're gonna backstep. Nice and slow down at 80 BPM. Again, the idea is just pentatonic up, and then this little pattern back down to get us back into C shape. I should say before we move on that bluegrass is a genre that, as a guitarist, we typically think of improvising with caged shapes, and so there's a tension to what is the open shape that we're starting with out of those 5 different caged shapes. Because we're playing out of C here, this is obviously a C caged kind of situation, and that colors the entire fretboard, how I look at it. That being said, these are all C shape licks. However, you can take these licks and transpose them into different shapes, different spots across the fretboard. You don't have to play them out of open. You could transpose an octave up, and also you can transpose these into different open shapes, like a G shape or a D shape. Another note I want to make right here is that a lot of what I'm doing when I'm improvising is playing with tension and release, building up tension to be released. There are a lot of different ways that you can do this, and I'm trying to do this in each one of these licks. So you might ask, well, what does this lick go over? So this could go over a 1 chord, this could go over a 1 chord going to a 5, back to a 1. It can go in different places. There's not a lot of tension being built here. It's kind of just in the tonic, in the 1. Great, lick number 2. Let's play it at 80 BPM. Time maybe. So this is an idea, maybe I've talked about this before, but if you've ever heard the duo record, Critter Eldridge, Julian Lage, they actually did 2 of these records. On one of those records, either Avalon or Mount Royal, they play Whiskey Before Breakfast. And Julian, being kind of more of a jazz player than a bluegrass player, although his chops are good enough for both, he plays this idea out of this C shape. So what this is we're just taking this C shape, we're going a half step up. And what this does is it acts like a tritone substitution. In other words, we're gonna play some harmonic information a half step up instead of your 5 chords. So we're gonna play this D flat major stuff as a substitution for your 5 chord, that G back to the 1. So again, if you're asking me, how do I use this? If there's a tune, and I know there are plenty that have a 5 chord that go back to the 1 chord, this could fit in harmonically to that. Start off in the 1, create tension, resolve back to the 1. It's the same as, or very similar, not the same. Let's check out lick number 3. So this is another example of start in the 1, create tension, and then resolve back to the 1. What I'm kind of hearing under this is... Right now, what is this? This is a G with a sharp 5, a D sharp, aka E flat. So what I'm doing is I'm using this altered run to create tension in that 5 chord. So I'm going, so 1, 5, tension, 1, resolve. Let's try out lick number 4. Okay, what's happening with this lick? It's a little bit backwards. I'm starting with the tension and then we're resolving. So what is this stuff? That sound right there, harmonically speaking, I'm thinking of this as though it is a 4 chord going back to a 1 chord, right? There are 2 main cadences in music. There's a 4 to a 1, or there's a 5 to a 1. 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1. In this instance, we're doing 1, 4, 1. Or really, we're just starting on the 4 and landing back on the 1. But I'm doing something funny to the 4 chord. Instead of just a regular major 4 chord that resolves back to our 1, we're doing this sound, which I'm sure you've heard before. Right? I'm sure you've heard this plenty of times. F minor, 4 chord, back to your C. And so I'm putting on that 4 chord not just any kind of minor phrase, but we're borrowing from melodic minor. Melodic minor has that sharp 6, a natural 7th, and back to the 1, right? Basically what we're doing is we're starting melodic minor 4 chord, resolving back to just a regular major. So let's try out lick number 5. Lick, we're kind of playing off of this version of that C major pentatonic shape. If you know A minor pentatonic, you know C major pentatonic. And what we're doing here is we're taking this big interval leap, which I love. And then what we're doing is we're using an open string, this escape note, to get back down. And this is a big part of flat picking bluegrass guitar. Sometimes when you feel like you're up here and you know you need to get back down, the easiest way to do that is by using an open string. But the open string, typically you want it to fit into the phrase, unless you're Brad Paisley, and then the open string just functions as a rhythmic ghost note to get you back to where you want to go. So we're going right down the pentatonic, minor pentatonic. Open, move down, that's your opportunity. So you can just practice this phrase if that's kind of funky to you. One really great way to work out fiddle tunes as well as licks is if you're having a problem with just one area, you don't have to run the whole lick over and over in its entirety. Just highlight that specific area, highlight it, play it a million different times, play it super slow, play it super fast. Okay, let's try lick number 6. The idea behind this lick is that we're going to basically turn this C into a C7 chord, a dominant 7th chord. If you take a C7 chord up here, this voicing right here that we see a lot, right, which is almost like that, and we start that voicing off of the 3rd and we change things around just a little bit, right? That is now our new C7, starting off the 3rd, which is this E, right? It's like having this. There's a 9 in there as well. So we've got 3rd, dominant 7th, 9, 5th, rootless voicing. It's kind of a funk voicing. The funny thing about this voicing is that not only does it function as this C7, but if you just analyze it from the E, it's a minor 7, flat 5, right? Root, flat 5, dominant 7th, minor 3rd. So what I did here is I took a pentatonic that starts off of this E, this minor 7, flat 5 pentatonic, root 3rd, 4th, flat 5, dominant 7th. That is your minor 7 flat 5 pentatonic. So I took that, and then what I thought of after is this kind of diminished lick, and diminished has a strong relationship to dominant 7th. So I took this diminished, which has this nice sharp 4 too, which I love. And there's this big stretch. And now we're in this G shape C. Let's try lick 7. I love this little turnaround here, and it's called the turnaround lick. So what we're doing is we're taking this C shape. A lot of times in this C shape, I don't really hear minor pentatonic in the same way that I hear minor pentatonic blues out of a G shape. So I kind of transcribe that. And then what we do, so we go from that, tonic, blues, minor pentatonic, and then we do this. So this is a nice little substitution. It is almost like we're 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 5, 1, or 2 minor, 5, 1. This first little run here is like a rootless D7th with that E in there, obviously. That's a 2nd, or a 9. D dominant with a 9th without the root. And then we've got a G, a 5 chord, altered kind of like G with a flat 9 in there, that resolves back to our 1. So it's basically like just like enunciating, spelling that out. It's a nice little turnaround. You can use it in a lot of different places. Anywhere you see a 5 chord back to a 1 chord out of this C shape, who cares if there's a 2 in front of it? You can still throw this on there and it's gonna sound great. Okay, last one. Let's check out lick number 8. Okay, I call this one Interval Bro, as in Lenny Bro, one of my favorite guitarists. He was well known for many things, his virtuosity, his playing, and also these big interval licks. I take influences from Alan Holdsworth, other players who can play these huge intervals. You don't really hear them a lot in bluegrass guitar, which I think is kind of cool to play them in bluegrass guitar contexts. So it's a big stretch, open 4, 1, 5, 1, 5. You gotta practice this, you gotta stretch it, you gotta just do it a lot to be able to make this stretch. It'll become easier, it just will. If you think you can't do it, just keep trying. Over days, maybe a week, you will be able to stretch. I hope you like these licks. They're unconventional, they're weird for bluegrass, so please handle with care. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment, it helps out the channel and allows me to do a whole lot more of this. Thanks so much.